Are you ready to learn how to make the perfect waterslide decals for your tumbler? Because today I want to walk you through exactly how to make waterslide decals to spice up your tumblers. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, my name is Allison and I am the maker and teacher behind the channel, and I post weekly tutorials and do weekly live streams to help you become a more confident tumbler maker and crafter. So if that sounds cool to you, consider subscribing down below and hitting that bell so you don't miss any new upcoming tutorials. Before we get into how to make the waterslide image, we should probably talk about what it is and what it does for your cups. Now, a waterslide decal is basically just an image or text printed on specific paper that is called waterslide paper, and that is basically a transfer film that is super thin that you can transfer from the paper to your tumbler. And you can add it to just about any smooth surface. It doesn't have to just be tumblers. You can add it to glass, wood, ceramic, a whole lot of different things if you are interested in things outside of making tumblers. When you purchase your waterslide paper, you can buy it in clear or white. And I generally recommend clear only because I kind of find the white waterslide paper hard to work with, but plenty of people use it and like it. And I will link a video right now in the top right corner showcasing the difference between the two so you can decide what you want for your projects. One factor that you should consider while you're deciding whether you're going to use clear or white waterslide is that clear waterslide is transparent. So it works best on a light colored base, whether that's white or a yellow or a light pink, something light colored. You're going to want to use your clear waterslide on that. If you wanted to use waterslide paper on a dark color, black, purple, something dark, you absolutely will not see a clear waterslide on those colors, but you could use white waterslide in its place or any number of the other types of decals that are out there for you to use. Part of making quality waterslide decals for your tumblers is using a good quality paper. Now, there are loads out there. I get mine from Amazon and I will link it in the description box below, but it has not steered me wrong and I do recommend it just to make sure that your image doesn't crack or separate or do anything weird. You want to make sure you're using a good paper. Some of the reasons I like using waterslide decals are one, that they're super customizable. Anything you can print on a piece of paper, you can print instead of copy paper, print it on waterslide paper. So any image you have on your computer or phone or whatever, you can make into a waterslide decal. And it is so easy to print your own. If you have a printer, you can create this on your own. Just as long as you buy waterslide paper, you can run it through your printer and create those decals all on your own without having to buy them from somewhere like Etsy or somebody else's shop, which is also something you can do if you don't want to make them yourself. The third reason I like waterslide decals is because that transfer sheet is so thin. And since I use Crystalac Bright Tone to finish up my tumblers, all I need on top of it is a few coats of Bright Tone, because you can get it covered and sealed a lot faster than something more thick like sticker paper or vinyl. So the first step in creating the perfect waterslide decal is to find and print your image. You can find images anywhere online. You can buy them from Etsy, or where I recommend to go is creativefabrica.com. They have so many images and fonts at really low prices. I actually have a membership there, so I can just download whatever I want, whenever I want, and I highly recommend checking them out, so then you also know that you have the license to use those images. So once you find your image, you can print. You can use Word, Google Docs, Silhouette Studio, Cricut Design Space, whatever program that you have, and you can go file print, you can print that decal. If you're using clear waterslide, you don't have to do anything special. You're just going to print out the image or images on the sheet and cut around it with scissors. A side note, if you're going to use white waterslide, you're going to want to use the print and cut feature. So I'm not going to go into that in this video, but when you have the white outline, you want to make sure that you use the print and cut feature of your Cricut or Silhouette or whatever cutting machine that you have. The other thing to pay attention to are your printer settings. I have found that using photo paper glossy settings for my printer helps me get the best waterslide images, but this is something that you're gonna have to test out on your own and figure out how your printer behaves with your paper that you buy. While we're on the topic of printers, let's talk about step 2. If you use an inkjet printer, you need to seal your images. Basically, there's two different printer options, laser printers and inkjet printers. And chances are you have one of those at your house. If you don't have any printer at all, I am gonna recommend going with a laser printer because it makes this whole process a little bit easier. I recently upgraded to a laser printer, but I used an inkjet printer for my water slides for years before I switched over. So it's totally fine if you have an inkjet printer. The fundamental difference between the two is that a laser printer uses toner and an inkjet printer uses ink. And that toner gets like heated up in the printer and basically embedded in the fibers of the paper. So ultimately kind of like dyeing the paper, whatever color you're printing. Inkjet uses ink that just rests on top of the paper. So you have to first let it dry, and then once you go to put it on your tumbler, you need to protect that ink because the reason it's called Waterslide is that you need water to add it to your tumbler. And if you don't seal your inkjet water slides, the ink is gonna run everywhere. So if you have a laser printer, you don't need to seal. If you have an inkjet printer, you do need to seal. And to seal my inkjet printers, I have a whole video tutorial on that. You need to spray clear spray paint on top of your inkjet water slides so the ink doesn't run anywhere. Again, any clear spray paint will do. I will link a sealing video in the top right corner as well if you want more information on how to seal the water slides. So step 1 is to find and print your images. Step 2 is to seal your decals if you have an inkjet printer. If you have a laser printer, you just get to print it and put it on your cup. And step 3 is to add the decal to your tumbler. So once you seal your water slide decal, let that spray paint dry completely. Let it dry for 24 hours, and then you can add it to your tumbler. Submerge your water slide image underwater for about 30 seconds to 60 seconds, and then transfer it to your tumbler. Please make sure that whatever brand paper you're using, you look at the instructions because they all come with instructions, and that timing might vary from paper to paper. So submerge it in water, let it kind of release from the paper, and you will be able to slide it on your tumbler. And then you want to take something like this silicone brush and squeegee out any excess water. The way that the water slide is going to adhere to your tumbler is by scraping away all of that water. The good thing about water slide is that you can kind of reposition it if you need to, but once it starts to dry, it is permanent. So take your silicone brush, brush out any of the water, and then take a paper towel and kind of dry up the rest of the tumbler. Step 4 is to finish up your tumbler. Once you put on your water slide decal, it's not done yet. This can be exposed to water, scratches, elements, whatever. You need to put on a protective coating on top of your decal. Whether you're using Crystalac like I do or epoxy like other people, you do need to put some on top. I personally use Crystalac Bright Tone and do about 4 to 6 coats on top of my decal. Just a reminder, make sure you let that decal dry completely before you put any top coat on top. Give it like overnight, 8 hours to like 24 hours to fully dry before you put any top coat on top. Otherwise, you might have problems with the image actually adhering to your tumbler. For more information on the different types of decals that are out there and all of the different possibilities, I'm going to link a video for you right here on the screen so you can watch and just kind of learn more about the different types of decals that are out there that you can use for your tumblers.